we go.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Shawnee City Council. I would ask that you please silence your electronic devices at this time. I am Mayor Michelle Disler. I will be chairing this meeting. I will do a roll call at this time. Councilmember Neighbor.
Present.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Present.
Councilmember Kimling.
Present.
Councilmember Meyer.
Present.
Councilmember Sandifer.
Present.
Thank you. Please stand, join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. To begin our swearing-in ceremony, I have asked Morgan Wilcox to recite her winning essay from the Shawnee VFW Post Voice of Democracy contest. She is an 11th grader at Maranatha Academy, and I was so impressed with what she had to say. I wanted to share that not only with the existing council members, but with our new council members that are coming in tonight. So I thought tonight would be the perfect night to have her come and share this essay with us. And then I just learned she is also one of the state finalists for the Voice of Democracy contest, and so we wish her luck Saturday in Topeka when they announce the winner. So Morgan, if you'd like to come forward and share your essay with us, please. And I want everyone to listen very carefully.
Thank you for this invitation to come and speak tonight. It's an honor. I'd like to also say thank you to the VFW for helping me get to this point, and so this is my speech. American history, our hope for the future. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Dwight D. Eisenhower, Ronald Reagan. When average Americans hear these names, they immediately associate something with them. With George Washington, they may think of the Revolutionary War. Abraham Lincoln, the Emancipation Proclamation. The name Dwight D. Eisenhower may conjure thoughts of the interweaving system of highways throughout our nation. When Americans hear the name Ronald Reagan, they may think back to his consistent stance during the Cold War. But what about Chester Arthur? Chester Arthur was the 21st President of the United States of America, yet few know his name. This American president, who is not on any of our currency, nor whose name is a regular answer on Jeopardy, stood against the corrupt political machines that cheated people out of office when they deserved to be elected. He also passed an important act that hired government officials based upon merit, not just popularity. He turned his back to the corrupt political machine, to the corrupt people he once stood with, in order to do the right thing, to be above reproach. Yet, in a list of presidents or leaders of the free world, few would list him unless they just had to memorize the names of the presidents for history class. Still, this historical figure, when studied, is seen standing for what he believes in. Even if our names never grace the pages of an American history book, will our generation be known for doing the right thing and be the hope for America's future? Do we stand for what we believe in, for what we respect? Do we hold our fellow Americans accountable to the ideals on which our great nation was founded? Do we rise at the presentation of the colors which represent the free sky under which we thrive, the pure hearts of the courageous who risk their lives for ours, and the spilled blood of those who believe enough in the future of America to die for her? Will we turn our back on the sins of our past and look only to the future, guaranteed by the Savior, but secured by our soldiers? We have an obligation as American citizens to preserve our past and forge our future. As we face many obstacles, we must stand as a united nation, all races, all religions, all Americans. If a cord of 3 is not easily broken, a cord of 325.4 million is inseparable. But who will rise? Who will stand? Who will lead us in our quest for total unity? Will you? Will I? Our generation will join those before us and answer these questions in the affirmative. We will learn from those who lived with integrity and are listed in the archives of our history. We will learn from the stories of our righteous forefathers. We will learn from the experience of our parents. We will learn from the courageous men and women who sacrifice everything for our ability to stand for what we believe. Like President Arthur, we will turn our backs on corruption and stand united. We will be above reproach, acting as true Americans should act. We will connect the hearts of all Americans and together lead our nation into a prosperous and united future. We will rise to protect our legacy and defend our horizon. We will fight for justice. When we fall, we will rise again. If we do these things, we will preserve our history and we will be the hope for the future, even if no one remembers our names. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Morgan. So next, City Council.
Mayor and council members, citizens and guests, Kansas law mandates that all mayors and council members take the oath of office prior to assuming their duties. It's my privilege to administer that oath this evening to 4 individuals who have been selected by the citizens in their respective wards to represent them. The responsibilities that they are about to undertake for the citizens include working as a productive member of a larger group for the betterment of the community. You are one member of a governing body that relies on an open decision-making process to bring together different points of view and citizen input so that sound decisions can be made. Involving citizens in the city government. No other level of government offers the opportunity for the people it serves to be so involved, whether it be serving on a committee, volunteering for a community event, or just coming to a council meeting and providing public input. And providing general direction and setting policy that guides our city's future. The decisions you make today will determine the community's quality of life far into the future. So will you please come forward when I call your name? Dr. Mike Kimling. Dr. Kimling was first elected in April 2013, and last November the citizens of Ward 2 elected him to continue representing them. Tonight he begins his second full term as the Ward 2 council member. Dr. Kimling, will you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Dr. Mike Kimling, do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas and faithfully discharge the duties of Ward 2 council member. So help me God. Okay, and you can sign your 2 oaths right over here. Audience that you want to recognize, have come forward for pictures. All right, well, congratulations and thank you for your service. Okay, next is Matt Zimmerman. And tonight, Mr. Zimmerman begins his first term as a Ward 1 council member. Mr. Zimmerman, will you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Matthew Zimmerman, do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas and faithfully discharge the duties of Ward 1 council member. So help me God. And you can sign your oaths behind you. To recognize or take a picture with?
I have a beautiful bride and my 3 beautiful daughters. I would love to.
All right, great.
Absolutely. They didn't know they had to do it. All right, great. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
All right, perfect. is Justin Adrian. Tonight, Mr. Adrian begins his first term as a Ward 3 council member. Mr. Adrian, will you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Justin Adrian,
I, Justin Adrian,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas, and faithfully discharge the duties of Ward 3 council member. Help me God.
Help me God.
Okay, you can go ahead and sign your oaths. All right.
One, two, three. One, three.
Constance. Tonight, Mrs. Constance begins her first term as a Ward 4 council member. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Lindsay Constance,
I, Lindsay Constance,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
and the Constitution of and faithfully discharge the duties
and
of Ward 4 council.
council member. So help me God.
And you can sign your oath.
Yeah, my husband, my kids, and my mom and dad. Perfect picture.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we have everyone seated, I'll explain our procedures for public input. During the meeting, I will offer the opportunity for public input. If you'd like to speak to the council at any of those times, please come forward to the microphone. I will ask you to state your name and address for the record, and then you may offer your comments. So that members of the audience can hear your comments, I would ask that you speak directly into the microphone. By policy, comments are limited to 5 minutes, and no person may speak more than twice to any one agenda item. After you are finished, please sign the form on the podium to ensure we have an accurate record of your name and address. In addition, while we won't do a roll call vote on every vote, I will state council members' names who vote in minority so that our listening audience will have a clear and accurate record of the vote. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Does anyone have an item they would like to remove from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item is mayor's items, and I do not have anything tonight. Next item is appointments. Item number 1 is to consider appointments and reappointments to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, the MARC Total Transportation Policy Committee, and the Kansas and Missouri Metropolitan Cultural District Commission. Policy statement, PS 72, Boards and Commissions Recruitment and Appointment Process updated the methods used to recruit volunteers to serve on boards and commissions and streamlined the process for approving the appointments. One motion will approve the entire slate as presented. Does anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone from the audience like to speak to this item? I will accept a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. If any of the appointees are in the office, if you'd please stand and be recognized so we can show our thanks for your support of the community. Thank you. Next item is business from the floor. Is there anyone who has comments on an issue that is not on tonight's agenda? Okay, seeing none. Next item is public items. Item number 1 is to consider adopting resolution number 1825, amending resolution number 1767, relating to the advisability of constructing certain improvements and creating an improved district. Clear Creek Parkway from Clare Road to Gleason Road. City has previously authorized in resolution number 1767 the construction of Clear Creek Parkway from Clare Road to Gleason Road and the creation of the improvement district to finance a portion of the cost of such improvements. The estimated cost of the improvements has increased primarily due to the supplemental engineering services as approved by the governing body on December 18, 2017. It is therefore necessary to amend portions of resolution number 1767 to authorize the additional cost in order to issue general obligation bonds for this project. Recommended action is to consider adopting resolution number 1825. Does anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone from the audience like to speak to this item? I'll accept a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item number 2 is to consider adopting resolution number 1826, providing for sale of general obligation internal improvement bonds, Series 2018A, on February 12, 2018. The Series 2018A general obligation bonds will be used to finance all or a portion of the cost of the Neiman Middle and 6200 Neiman stormwater projects, the western portion of Clear Creek Parkway from Clare Road to Gleason, and a fire truck for the new Fire Station 74. The bond sale and approval of the best bid is scheduled for February 12, 2018, City Council meeting. The recommended action is to consider adopting resolution number 1826. Does anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone from the audience like to speak to this item? I'll accept a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item number 3 is to consider contract number 2018-0003, a master license agreement with Mobility. The governing body approved ordinance number 3184 on May 8, 2017, granting a contract franchise to Mobility for use of the public right-of-way. Mobility is proposing to install antenna on city-owned streetlights, and an agreement is required. The recommended action is to consider approving and authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement. Does anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone from the audience like to speak to this item? I'll accept a motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is council items. Item number 1 is the election of the 2018 council president. Charter ordinance number 45 provides that at first regular city council meeting in January of each year, the governing body shall elect one member of the council as president. The action needed is to nominate and elect a council president. Anyone from the audience like to speak to this item? Okay, does any member of the council have a nomination? Mr. Jenkins?
I'd like to nominate Dr. Kimling.
A motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. Let's go ahead and do a roll call vote. Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Neighbor?
No.
Jenkins?
Yes.
Kimling?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Adrian?
No.
Sandifer?
No.
And Constance?
No.
Okay, lack of majority. Does anyone else have a motion that they would, Mr. Adrian?
I motion for Matt Zimmerman.
Second.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded for Matt Zimmerman. Mr. Zimmerman? Mr. Neighbor?
Yay.
Mr. Jenkins?
Nay.
Mr. Kimling?
Yes.
Ms. Meyer?
No.
Mr. Adrian?
Yes.
Mr. Sandifer?
Yes.
Ms. Constance?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 2 is the election of the 2018 Council Committee Vice Chair. Policy Statement PS7, Conduct of Public Meetings, provides that the Vice Chair of the Council shall be elected by the governing body at the first regular City Council meeting in January of each year at the same time the Council President is elected. The action needed is to nominate and elect a Council Committee Vice Chair. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to this item? Okay, does any member of the council have a nomination? Mr. Kimling?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Jenkins.
Okay, we have a nomination for Mr. Jenkins. Is there a second?
I'll second myself.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Mr. Jenkins. Mr. Zimmerman? Mr. Neighbor?
Nay.
Mr. Jenkins?
Aye.
Mr. Kimling?
Yes.
Ms. Meyer?
No.
Mr. Adrian?
No.
Mr. Sandifer?
No.
Ms. Constance?
No.
Okay, motion fails. Is there another motion? Mr. Adrian?
I motion for Stephanie Meyer.
Okay, a motion has been made for Ms. Meyer. Is there a second? Second. Motion and a second. Mr. Zimmerman? Mr. Neighbor?
Aye.
Mr. Jenkins?
Aye.
Mr. Kimling?
Yes.
Ms. Meyer?
Aye.
Mr. Adrian?
Aye.
Mr. Sandifer?
Yes.
Ms. Constance?
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, next item on the agenda is items from the Council Committee meeting of December 5th, 2017. Item number 1 is to consider the 2018 Street Maintenance Program. Council Committee recommended 8-0 to forward the 2018 Street Maintenance Program to the governing body for approval and to authorize the solicitation of bids for the 2018 mill and overlay contract and other contracts provided for in the program. Does anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone from the audience like to speak to this item? I will accept a motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is staff items. Item number 1 is to consider bids and award contract number 2018-0004 for the 2018 Stormwater Pipe Repair Project number 2018. Final plans were approved on November 13, 2017. 4 bids were received on December 8, 2017. Staff is recommending Windeman, Inc. in the amount of $957,295.64. Recommended action is consider approving and authorizing the mayor to sign the contract. Does anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone in the audience like to speak to this item? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion.
Move for approval. Second.
Motion has been made and seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item number 2 is to consider contract number 2018-0005 for a feasibility study for the community center. Community center feasibility study and master plan project is included in the 2018 budget. An additional community center has been discussed in various forms for many years. The city purchased land at 61st and Woodland in May 2005, earmarked for a future park pool community center. 12 teams submitted qualification statements. Staff is recommending sink combs, death lifts in the amount of $114,750. The recommended action is to consider approving and authorizing the mayor to sign the contract. Does anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone from the audience like to speak to this item? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is miscellaneous items. Item number 1 is to ratify the semi-monthly claim for January 8th, 2018 in the amount of $2,657,335.11. Anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone from the audience like to speak to this item? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion.
So moved. Approval.
Motion has been made, seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Miscellaneous council items. Does anyone on the council have any items they would like to discuss? Mr. Adrian?
I'd like to thank Morgan for her speech today. I'm an American history teacher, and that really, it was awesome. It was a great speech, and I really wish her luck this Saturday.
Thank you. Mr. Jenkins? Yeah. Mr. Jenkins?
Yeah, no, that brings up 2 items. That adds an item to my list here. I want to thank her for that as well. I wore the uniform of a United States Army officer for 34 years. And then your references to the the sacrifice of those folks. I appreciated that. So just want to throw that out there. The other thing is I wanted to address to the chief of police. Rob, I'm going to ask you this question. It's not to put you on the spot or anything, but I got a text from the Sikhs, a national organization for the Sikhs, and I remember going to their temple for their New Year, and I think Brandon was there with me that day, and they were talking. They gave us a bunch of different references of things we could read up on about the Sikhs and who they are, and he mentioned in there that there's been issues. They've had problems, and they didn't say Shawnee now, so I want to be clear. They weren't talking about Shawnee, but I'm just wanting to know: have we had any issues with biases or prejudicial stuff to the Sikhs in town? Here?
Anything recently? I mean, there's been sporadically over several years. I suppose you could point to an incident here or there, but what that gentleman's talking about, we haven't seen anything like that in Shawnee recently.
Right.
So
I just wanted to. I hadn't heard anything about it, but I said, well, I'd ask you, and I'm sure you know. But
yeah, and they do a great job of keeping in touch with us and inviting us to events, and we go represent ourselves well out there, picnics, dinners, events, things like that. So we got a great relationship with them, and anytime there's an issue like that, we get together and work
yeah,
on it. So.
they seem to be a great group of folks, and they're very peace-loving and
Yeah.
family-oriented. And I mean, geez, I think somebody's getting them mixed up with some other people, maybe. So
Also, yeah, and I can even speak to that because I've actually received an email from them after our officers were helping them with one of their events, thanking our officers for everything that they did
Yeah.
for them and stuff. So they were very appreciative of the Shawnee Police Department.
It's a great relationship. I have no issues with that
I was
at all.
just,
Yeah.
it was just a curiosity because I had got that thing. I'm like, wow, I don't think I've ever heard of anything here. So I just thought I'd ask
I think
tonight
it's more
to see.
widespread than here. So yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mr. Sam.
Yeah, I read the letter, and it seemed like it was something, standard letter from the East Coast
Yeah,
that they were sending all over the country.
I think they're sending to all the
Yeah.
governing bodies.
Did you have any other items?
No, that was it.
Okay, are there any other council items? Okay, seeing none, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion has been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you.